this is going to sound like an insult. I don't mean it to be, but it is kind of funny. Is the songs kind of sound like the winning songs on American Idol.
Oh my God, you're so right. This is My Now, Jordan Sparks.
This is my now.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Off to Broadway, the podcast where we deep dive into anything and everything musical theater. I'm Tara.
I'm Stefania.
And in today's episode, we're talking about the national tour of Shucked. I guess North American tour. National? Yeah. Same thing. I don't know.
Well, national implies one country only, I think.
You're right. So North American tour.
Canada. I don't think we're going to Mexico, but it does imply Canada.
Yes. This episode is coming out very quickly after we record because if you're listening on episode release, you have like 5 days to go see Shucked here in Toronto. And if you're listening not on episode release and you're in the States, it's probably coming to a city near you. It's going to Ohio right after Toronto. I'm in yellow today for Corn. Steph is in a costume from the show.
Okay, so we're watching the show and Danielle Wade as Maisie comes out in a pink little like bodysuit tank top. I don't know can I show you this? And I was like, I own that. And
it's
so
Aritzia,
in honor
right?
of her, this is from Aritzia. Wow, it's like off kilter. Mine is from Aritzia. I don't know where hers is from. Probably also Aritzia. I don't know. I wonder if that's what she wore on Broadway.
I don't remember if that's what she wore on Broadway, but like it's very possible. Then maybe it's just like a pink bodysuit, but it is the exact same shade of pink.
No, I know. I saw it. I was like, I own that. And so I'm wearing it today because of this. It kind of isn't giving Shucked, like, visually right now, but it's in the show. It's more Shucked than your outfit.
It's just funny because we logged on here and I was like, oh my God, Steph, this top. And she's like, it was in the show. And then I remembered that I actually thought this while we were sitting in the seats. We were not sitting together because I was sitting with Shara, you were sitting with your mom. But I feel like if we were sitting together, I would have said something to you in the moment.
That's my top. That's my top.
Because I've seen you wear this like 3 times. Once to like the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember the second time.
So I wore it when we saw the Galentine's Day
party.
6. Yes, I wore it to the Angeliette party. And I wore it when we saw Galentine's Day 6 like event.
As noted
I'm wearing
here,
it there.
This is the same.
Yes, that's actually a more accurate depiction of like the color pink than whatever's happening.
This is really not good for audio-only listeners, so you should probably watch the YouTube for this reason, because it's really hard-hitting journalism here.
It's hard-hitting, yeah.
Anyway.
So, I break it out sometimes. It's a little, summer top.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about the North American tour of Shucked, and I will also kind of reference when I saw it on Broadway, because I saw it on Broadway, I guess in 2020. No, maybe I saw it in 2022. I have to pull up the pictures of when I saw Shucked. Before we start, what is your relation, if any, to Shucked?
Well, when Shucked was announced, I believe on our way to early Tony Awards, we were like, what is this? Never heard of this in my life. Where did this even come from? Yeah, where did this even come from for the season? So my first introduction to it was just hearing about it over the course of, doing this podcast and being plugged into theater. And I haven't really given it that much thought over the years. I knew it was about Corn. I knew visually, Corn. But yeah, the first time I heard of it was when it was announced it was coming to Broadway. And then just, seeing the Tony performance and, hearing about it from you. But beyond that, I don't think I ever went and listened to the cast album at all.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Tara?
Okay, confirming I saw it April 29th, 2023. At the time, this was like a really hard ticket to get. I went with my brothers. We sat separately. I sat by myself. They sat together on like orchestra opposite sides of the theaters. But it was like a hard ticket to get. Everybody was kind of talking about like this Corn musical. If you remember, like when this first happened 3 years ago, like there was the whole marketing campaign was kind of just like, it's about Corn, and like that's it. There was no actual like this is what the story is about. If I remember correctly, there was like a weird like put the influencers on top of a city bus and like drive them around.
You know what? I remember this. Yes. I feel like they invited like theater influencers.
This was like Ashley Hufford, who I'm thinking of.
Yes, but I feel like maybe this was one of the first shows
Well,
or
do
that
you
I
know
was
why?
really aware of involving theater influencers. Why? Tell me.
Catherine Quinn worked on this.
Catherine Quinn. Okay. You know, she does have a great kind of, you know, finger on the pulse of social media for sure. But yeah, I remember, you know what, you're ringing a bell right now that
The bus.
the bus or just like the influencers being invited to, let's say, like the rehearsal, like the final dress rehearsal at this, at the like rehearsal room. Yeah. Do you remember also at the same time, there was that little kid who was like, it's corn.
It's got the juice.
And he was invited to see Shucked.
Yes,
Because there's
I
like
remember.
synergy. So yeah, they were, sorry, I lost my program. So yeah, they were really, you know, leaning into that viral marketing.
Yeah, so I'm just looking this up because Catherine Quinn, who we've talked about many times on this podcast, she has like really, I think, helped Broadway with their social media strategies in the last, what do you think, like 3-4 years?
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
3 for sure. I'm not sure what she's currently working on. She was working on The Great Gatsby, maybe still is for like a really long time. But she at the time didn't have like the platform that she has now. She's also like has the platform that Showbiz, which has a lot of like interviews on YouTube with different Broadway stars, like interviewing each other. She's doing like cool things online. Anyway, at the time, she was Robert Horn's assistant, I believe, who wrote Shucked. So I think that's how like she got into this. And then I think just from, you know, like being there as like an assistant to like the writer, she started taking videos and I think like ended up doing social media for Shucked at the time. So I do think like, not to say that these shows haven't had social media presence before 2023, but in the last few years, we've really seen like a spike in social media presence. So I do think like 100%. This is kind of where that maybe began with Shucked.
Like a different type of social media and leaning into kind of the influencer marketing. I think, you know, movies, television, music, it's all leaning into influencer marketing, but I do think theater has been one of the last ones to really like use that to their advantage. I don't know.
No, I agree.
I don't know if you agree, but yeah, almost in like a snobby way. I don't know, but yeah, like Shucked as a show is not snobby at all, and successfully used that style of marketing.
So when I saw Shucked, I really liked it. The cast at the time featured like Andrew Durand, who I was kind of like newer to at the time, and now we talk about him all the time on this podcast. Alex Newell was in this. Gray Henson was in this. I think that was like the most like notable people at the time. And it was nominated for 10 Tony Awards, and I'm going to reference because you're going to hear an episode from us on Some Like It Hot after this, but I don't know exactly what I said because I haven't edited yet, but Some Like It Hot and Shucked were in the same Tony season. So and so was Kimberly Kimbo. So we're here for a third time this year.
Our whole year, basically.
But I believe I said that like Alex Newell won the Tony Award like after J. Harrison Ghee because we were talking about like the non-binary people that have been nominated for these awards. They actually were in the same season together. So that was kind of like a monumental Tony season,
Very monumental.
I would say. So that was the 2023 Tony Awards. Anyway, I think only won one award, Best Featured Actor in a Musical. The guy that played Peanut was also nominated, which I can't wait to get your thoughts on Peanut because I feel like there's so many things here that are really can be related to Ogie from Waitress. So we'll save that for when we get into these characters. But yeah, like Shucked, I don't know, what would you say is like kind of a synopsis on Shucked? Because it's not just about corn.
No, it's not just about corn. I think almost the closest comparison for another musical, and this was from talking to my mom who accompanied me, is like Brigadoon. They're like in this town and not that they can't leave, but no one wants to leave. And so when the corn starts dying, which is what like keeps them alive, Maisie leaves this Brigadoon like town to try and find someone who can help them fix the corn. And she ends up bringing back like a con artist. So there's this kind of like fish out of water element for him. Well, for her first when she goes to Tampa to find him, and for him when he comes back to Cobb County. And then it's like a little bit of like a farce, a miscommunication farce that turns into, you know, a wholesome kind of rom-com at the end, where he's trying to, you know, pay off his debts. She's trying to fix the corn. Her ex-fiance is there. Blah, blah, blah. Happily ever
Yeah, it's
after.
kind of like, it kind of ends on a, she left, but comes back and everything she could have ever needed was already right there. Like, that's kind of how we tie that up in a nice little bow.
Exactly. If you think of like a Hallmark movie where, you know, the big city guy comes to the small town and finds, you know, this is a much better life than the grind he was living through back at home, you know? Yeah.
Also just looking at the, you know, Wikipedia page for Shucked, and then I also sparked another memory. Taylor Trench was in the original Out of Town of this as storyteller number 2. But what did he take instead? There must have been something else that came in 2023 for him. Was it?
I know, he's always booked. Camelot?
Oh, it was Camelot. It was Camelot, yeah.
Camelot. Yeah, that man is
like, very different, obviously. But it would have been interesting, I think, to see him in this, because I feel like he would have, I don't know, almost give it like a SNL, like, interpretation, because he's so dry humored.
Yeah, I love Taylor Trench. Anything he does, anytime I see him, I'm just giggling. Not Floyd Collins, but otherwise, just, like, his natural, like... sass is so I find it funny, so yeah, I think it would be funny. But I also think like Gray Henson, I don't think they're the same type, but I do think also would bring that same kind of,
he was great,
humor to this.
And I will say that Joe Moeller, who did it here, was also giving his best Gray Henson impression. We've seen him previously. He was in the Toronto, like, Out of Town of & Juliet, and then did it on Broadway for a while, just as one of the players. I think Understudy Shakespeare as well. But I thought he was pretty good. I actually just saw his Instagram story the other day. He went to go see & Juliet. And I was like, did you call out of Shucked to go see your friends in & Juliet? Because I think that's what happened.
Maybe. That's nice, though, because it's, that's, like, this is the city. So he's been to Toronto before, so he's here on tour, but he's been to the city before.
And also, like, Brandon and Matt are in it, and they spend a lot of time together in Toronto. So, like, a nice little reunion here. Okay, let's get into Shucked. So, this is currently playing at the Princess of Wales Theatre. We were just talking about the fact that it's going to Ohio, and, like, do we think that they have another set? I don't know. Like, you have to tell us. But it was not giving the Broadway set. The Broadway set was much more, like, the barn was basically constructed on stage, is what I would say. For, like, Lulu's whiskey area, it was just, like, more built out, whereas this was more like a scrim that had something printed on it, which is fine. It still looked like big, I would say. But yeah, what
there was nothing for me, not to interrupt, but like, there was nothing for me from this set that felt, oh, this is clearly a tour set. Like, you know, they had kind of the outline and it transitioned to a screen at the back, but I thought the set was fairly nice, and looked like professional. And no, this is from me having not seen the Broadway version, but I didn't feel like I was that I was getting a cheaper version. Like, it felt fully realized for me.
Which is sometimes what happens here. I think we talked about this, like, in Beetlejuice, maybe, whereas, like, that really felt scaled down to me. The tour set, which I understand, like, they have a full house there that they have to bring, so it's definitely different. And, like, tricks. Which this show doesn't have any tricks. It's just...
No.
Actually, I guess the corn growing at the end is kind of a trick. Like, that tree does move.
They can bring that from city to city, I think.
Yeah. Okay, what are your thoughts on Shucked?
Wow, this is a really hard question, I think.
As a musical comedy semi-hater.
I know. I'm going to say something, and what I'll say is, the hardest shows to critique or review are the ones where I have no strong opinions about. And that's kind of how I felt leaving Shucked. I was like, well, that was, a pleasant 2.5 hours. And I'll never think about that again, except I have to think about it again because I do this.
Yeah.
And it's actually been a few weeks since we saw it. So I was like, okay, refresh. What happened? So I was grateful that I took notes for myself on this one because I don't always take notes. Because sometimes things just like stay so much and you're like thinking about them for weeks. I forgot what happened an hour later in this show. Not that it was bad. There was nothing wrong with it. But I just didn't, feel so strongly about it in any way. And that's kind of my feeling on Shucked. I had a perfectly nice, pleasant time. The music was enjoyable. The performers were talented. I thought this tour was in really good shape. Like, I was like, oh, they're clean. They're strong. Like, the tour, it's their second year of touring. Like, they're still, the tour is still, like, a strong tour. But, yeah, like, for me, Shucked, I would recommend it to people. But, like, it will never make, like, a top musicals list to me. Mm-hmm. What about you, Tara? How do you feel about Shucked?
I really liked it when I saw it on Broadway. And I don't think that the energy was matched on tour. And that's not to say that, like, the performers weren't good, because I do think that everybody, as you said, was, like, in good shape. We've seen many tours roll through here that people are phoning it in, and I don't think anybody was phoning it in Shucked. I just don't think the same, like, overall energy was, I don't know. I don't even know. It's almost like, because I had seen this show before, because I had heard these, like, one-off jokes before, it's almost like lightning can't strike the same place twice, so it's only funny the first time, which I think is a problem with musical comedies in general. I also
Comedy
just
is so much
think
about catching you by surprise, and like you kind of lose that momentum when you see something for a second time.
And I can't say that the jokes were like the same or different because it's been 3 years since I saw it. I do think it was leaning more in when I saw it in New York. I feel like some of the jokes were like much funnier. I also felt, and I don't know if you felt this way, because again,
the audience was cackling though. Sorry.
Oh, 100%. No, what I was going to say is every time that like Peanut came out to do his thing, I'm like, why are the house lights on? Like, I felt like it was so bright in that theater, and I do not remember this happening on Broadway. It was pretty dark, like, on Broadway.
Really?
I couldn't see like the people in front of me, where I felt like every time it was like almost like at stand-up when it's like, let's put those house lights up so we can see the audience. Like, that's what it felt like to me, and I don't know if that's a tour choice or if I'm misremembering from 3 years ago, but I don't think I am.
It was kind of lit like the Wicked movie. You know what I mean? Like, bright lights on everything.
Yes.
Like, and that totally makes sense. Like, it's a happy, joyful show, so there's bright lights on everything. Like, some shows we're seeing, and I cannot read my playbill because, like, it's so dark.
You could...
I'm like...
I was like... read everybody's bios and Shucked.
I was like, I'm reading a novel right now. I can see...
So that was like a little bit jarring to me, I think. But again, like, I don't think anybody was bad in this. I just think it's really hard, and I hate to say this because we don't like saying this, but like, to me, the Broadway version was a little bit better than the tour. And I do think, not to say that like Mickey Abraham was not great, because I thought that they were, but like, nothing will match the audience energy of when Alex Newell sang Independently Owned in the theater that I was in. Everybody it was like standing ovation when I saw it, because the vocal performance that Alex gave night after night, first of all, Alex has like one of the most outrageous voices I think in the industry. It's crazy. But, and I do think, I don't know, maybe this is the time to like get into this, because Mickey has talked about, like, a long story short, Mickey came into my place of work for an interview. So I did like extensive research on them, and they were on Broadway with Shucked as a understudy for Lulu. Also, they were on the Glee project together. Didn't know that, but found this out.
You know what? That is sort of ringing a bell now that you say this, as someone who did loyally watch the Glee project.
It's been a minute since we've revisited.
I'm seeing this. Should we do a Glee project episode? I love Glee.
Oh my god. Maybe we should. That's like kind of niche, but maybe we should. Anyway, Mickey like recently posted about this on their Instagram page about the Glee project, because traumatic time, which I imagine, like, I can see that. But I did not remember that, like, when you find out if you make it to the next episode is by like having your name on the call list. And they kind of traumatized them by, like, making them cry at certain points, like, in confessionals. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like an episode of Glee to me. Like, I'm not really surprised. And it's also funny. We should go down this hole because I think a lot of people actually have come from the Glee project. Lindsay Pierce, I'm looking at you as well. But, yeah, so I think, like, Mickey had said, you know, reuniting with Alex was, like, such an interesting process, but then really felt that night after night when if Mickey had to go on for Lulu, it's like, well, I'm not Alex. And people need to know that I'm not Alex. Yes. And again, not like they're bad because Mickey has a great voice. It's just not Alex. So I just think you kind of like...
Who won a Tony for this part.
Exactly.
Like,
and also this character, like Mickey had said, I don't know the publication because it was like an American publication, but Mickey had said that like Lulu unexpectedly became like a queer icon because, you know, like this is multiple non-binary people have played the character of Lulu. And they said that going to like bars, people would sing this song and just like it became like a big thing for the like queer community. And I just think it's interesting because Mickey's been with this national or North American tour for 2 years now. This is not an easy sing. Yes, it's like one big song, but it's not an easy sing. But to be like so committed to this character after like maybe having a bit of a rough go at the beginning with comparisons, and then also like the trauma of the Glee project is just kind of interesting to me.
The trauma of the Glee project. Wow. Yeah, that is interesting. Honestly, yeah, I didn't do the Instagram research that you did, but...
Well, I did it for other reasons, but it actually ended up being helpful here as well.
No, for sure. I love it. I did not realize they were on the Glee project because, wow, I was a big Glee project fan, but now that you say that, it's ringing a bell a little bit.
Can I tell you the trauma? They wanted them to come out on the Glee project. And the girl that Mickey was dating at the time was, like, not out. And they wanted it to be this whole thing. I was like, this is crazy. Maybe we should rewatch. Where can we find this?
Ryan
like, where's the Glee project?
Murphy, I know. Ryan Murphy, you will... you will pay. Yeah, no, for sure. It was a reality show, and, you know, they were promising these, you know, teens, now we're really going on the Glee project. They were promising these, you know, young adults this, like, big break, and also there was the thing about, you know, with Glee, what your uniqueness is what makes you special, that they're looking for, you know, not the expected kind of people to fill these roles. They're looking for unique people. Then they cast, like, basically only white men from this show. Like, not that they're not talented, but, you know, to say you're going out and you're looking for, you know, someone unique, someone special, someone who might not necessarily, like, get to have their big break, and like kind of almost like promising these things to people and giving them this safe space, and then, or like purporting to be a safe space, and then you pick like Blake Jenner at the end, please.
Which now we've learned so much of Blake Jenner. But like remind me, because like Alex was on Glee, so
yes.
How
the winners, season 1 had 2 winners. Damien McGinty.
Oh my god, I forgot it was more than one season.
It was 2 seasons. Season 1, I was there. Season 1 had 2 winners. Damien McGinty, who was Irish.
Yes, I remember him.
Samuel something.
The guy with the dreadlocks.
The guy with the dreads. He was also in the After movie, if you remember that.
Yes.
Never forget. He was playing like the Zane
We are really off topic, but I promise it's important for the lore.
Ali Stroker was on this first season too, right? Ali Stroker, Alex Newell, I think Lindsay Heather Pierce. I don't know what season she was on. Lindsay Heather Pierce. Yeah, so I think they did bring in like other competitors for like, let's say 1 or 2 episodes. I think Alex Newell maybe had the most, but Alex Stroker then came in. Lindsay did 1 episode.
Well, because wasn't Alex's character on Glee supposed to be like Mercedes? Like, wasn't that the whole storyline of like that there was someone that was just as good as Mercedes?
Maybe like at like a different school and like you know, could sing the same songs. This might have been when I like was petering out from Glee, but I was like really committed to the Glee project. And then season 2, Blake Jenner won. I don't remember who else was on season 2.
I don't. Like, not what's her name was not on it. Was she Melissa Benoist?
No.
Or she was just like cast authentically on Glee.
Authentically on Glee.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Blake Jenner was the winner. And then, I don't know who else I'm remembering. I'm remembering like Eileen, maybe. Lily. Nelly.
Yeah, those names are not ringing bells to me. Jacob is ringing a bell to me. Anyway, all this to say, this was all brought up from no one will ever match the energy of Alex Newell is what 100%. I started here. And I just think that, like, Alex is such a presence on stage. I could say the same thing for Once on This Island. I felt this way there. Like, Alex is just someone that as soon as they walk out, like, stage is commanded. I can also say this because Alex was recently in The Bat Boy that was at City Center that I saw. And literally shows up for one song, and the hollering from the audience was out of control. So, like, Alex is just someone that is such a presence, and I think that was really felt on Broadway. Again, as you said, won a Tony for this role. And I just don't think that like, energy that I felt in the theater there could be matched. This was also, again, as I'm looking, because it was April 29th, 2023, like, this was at, like, Tony cutoff at the time as well. So I think my theater was probably just, like, prepped and primed
really
to
excited.
Be ready for that. And also, like, Andrew Durand is Andrew Durand. Carolyn...
What a voice.
Ickenbacher, I believe is her name, was really good in this as Maisie. And as you were saying, like, you didn't think about it after. When I saw it on Broadway, I thought about it. I listened to the cast recording. I watched their Tiny Desk performances. Like, I was kind of, like, in the world of Shucked. When I saw it here, forgot. So it's so weird because, like, the material is the same, but it's just, like, not. I don't know. And, like, I hate saying that because I don't always feel that way about, like, tours. And I know. It's just, like, disappointing. But again, like, not many people are doing the straight comparison like I'm doing. Right. So I think I wonder it's fine.
Yeah, I do wonder if there's sometimes, like, a level of immersion when you see something, like, on Broadway versus in your hometown. Like, that is just different.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I will say is, like, the audience was cackling. The audience was eating up. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it was a fun time. It was a fun night. Like, I enjoyed myself, but I was just not super, like, you know, thrilled about it. I don't know. And what I'll say is we had seen Some Like It Hot maybe the week before, and if someone was asking me, because they ran basically the same period in Toronto, if someone was asking me a recommendation, I would send people to Shucked over Some Like It Hot.
Yeah, because there's fake tap dancing happening there. So.
Well, that. And we'll come back
will
in
hear
2
about
weeks
that.
For that.
Which was, like, funny because we recently also saw Shifting Grounds, The Drowsy Chaperone, and there was real tap dancing in that.
They were really tapping.
Let's talk about that versus, you know, our tour production, our North American tour production of Some Like It Hot. Anyway, this also featured, like, hometown Canadian hero Danielle Wade, who always nice to see her on a stage. I didn't love what she was doing with her voice, I will say, but I do enjoy her. And I think it's, like, really impressive to me that she's been in this for 2 years.
Yes, I remember when she was on the Mean Girls tour and she left before it came to Toronto, which was devastating.
Because her Stupid with Love is so good. From the one American, like, morning show that she performed on.
That's funny.
Yeah, when she goes up. No one else really goes up.
No, I know. I remember Erica did it once. She's like, I stole this from the tour.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. Yeah, Danielle, we were leaving, and my mom was like, where do they find people with these accents? And I'm like, that she's doing an accent.
Yeah, it's fake.
I'm like, she's from Ontario. Like, she is from here. She's from Windsor, Ontario. But I was like, she's from here. That is an accent. And yeah, sometimes the accent, I felt like distorted the voice a little bit in a way that was like a little like off.
It was a little too like breathy, airy for me on certain songs. But when we were belting, she's great.
Always.
Yeah.
What I'll say is I hated her wig. I thought her wig was really bad.
We're doing like a half up, half down, but it's like really poofy at the top.
Yeah. Maybe there's just like a lot of pink curls, maybe the mic, I don't know. But I was like, we're getting too much volume up there. And also when she sang Maybe Love at the end of Act 1, we were close enough. Not you. I was close enough.
Yeah.
That she had a single tear running down her face. And I was
She
like,
felt
wow,
that.
she's feeling it. I'm feeling it.
I feel like
she was acting. She was performing.
It was opening night, so I have to believe that she had some family in the audience, being, you know, in Toronto. So that's always exciting. Mervish just posted about this recently. I don't know if it was the exact same theater. I did see this production, but she did win the, like, Search for Dorothy, the CBC show years ago, which was for
Talking
Angela
about reality
Weber's,
television.
literally
shows.
that. Same thing. Literally same. It's all the same.
No.
But that was for the Wizard of Oz that was brought. It was Andrew Lloyd Webber's like the Wizard of Oz. I don't know if it was the same theater, but Mervish did just do like a Remember When? Now she's starring in Shucked,
really?
which was cute.
Wow. That is cute.
I think someone that we both really liked was Nick Bailey, who played Bo.
He was probably my favorite character in the show. I found
That
like, the
song,
comedy that he was giving, and yes, absolutely that song.
if you flash back to like years ago when I probably talked about it, I'm pretty sure I've used Somebody Will as an obsession previously because when I first heard that song on Broadway, now also Andrew Durand and Nick Bailey, two very different people, I would say, facially, physically, vocally as well, I would say, just very different types. But Andrew Durand brought such comedy to that performance. And then when we lead into later in the show, when they like go to the bar to get drunk for the bachelor party, and they kind of do like a little bit of a reprise of Somebody Will. Andrew Durand giving his best drunk accent of like, oh my God, that's my song. My brothers and I think about this all the time because it was such comedy. And then also I will say that like Men Number, when they were on like the barrels, much bigger choreography on Broadway. We were like running on top of the barrels on Broadway.
Really?
It was very exciting. Yeah, it's an act 2. It's like hee-haw, yee-haw. That's the lyrics. I'm not sure what it's called. Okay?
Right.
No.
Is it like Best Man Wins, maybe?
Yes, it's Best Man Wins.
That's the one where like the narrator's like, I'm going to step in for this one.
Yeah.
I know.
But they were like rolling the barrels and they were running on top of them.
Oh, wow,
it was
very
exciting on Broadway.
That's fun.
Which does not happen on tour.
No, it doesn't.
They just like jump on it. Anyway, Nick Bailey, an amazing voice. Somebody Will, I think, is one of the best songs in this show. It is like your perfect country rock ballad. And I love that song so much. I think it's like a really, really strong number.
I mean, yes, I agree. To me, that is my favorite song in the show. And I think this is where we should probably transition to the writers of this show because they're not typical musical theater writers. The show is written by Brandy Clark and Shane McAnally, who are country music writers who've written for, I'm looking at Brandy Clark's Wikipedia, Sheryl Crow, Miranda Lambert, The Brand Perry, Reba McEntire, Leanne Rimes, Casey Musgraves. Like these
maybe that's why Reba has like a bit of her hands in Shucked.
Maybe. And then Shane McAnally, Leanne Womack, Old Dominion, Casey Musgraves, Kelly Clarkson, Walker Hayes, Kelsey Ballerini, Lady A, Sam Hunt. So all of these like country superstars. And so I think you do hear that in the music, that these songs, some of them have like a musical theater bent to them, but a lot of them just sound like, country pop songs. The note that I made in my phone as we were leaving, it's going to sound like an insult, I don't mean it to be, but it is kind of funny, is the songs kind of sound like the winning songs on American Idol.
Oh my God, you're so right. This is My Now, Jordan Sparks.
This is my now.
Which I sang in a talent show one time. This is,
like,
oh my God, what was Carrie's
giving, like,
song?
Cara Diaguardi, like, whose song?
Carrie Underwood.
Oh.
I loved it, whatever it was.
Something in a Dream? Is it about being in a dream?
Hang on.
Just a dream?
No, that was later. American Idol winning song. Wow, that is like such a good reference. I would have never thought about that.
I was like, they sound like American Idol finale songs. Like the lead singles.
Okay, like, please, it's not... Oh, it's Inside Your Heaven.
Inside Your Heaven. Oh, man.
Inside your heaven. Take me to the place. That is that.
I'm trying to think, what was another one? I mean, not Philip Phillips' Home, but like...
I mean, A Moment Like This.
Iconic
Kelly
one.
Clarkson.
A Moment Like This. Most iconic one. What was... Fantasia Barrino's was like Believe or something.
What a great song.
What was Rubenstutter's? Now we're really like
I don't
so
know.
much reality competition.
I didn't mean to make this many relations, but it's all here. Well, that is actually like the best comparison maybe ever. I don't think that's offensive because those songs are iconic.
No, bops. But you know, there's like a slight like pop genericness.
Yeah.
That like permeates like some of these songs. In a way, like again, Somebody Will was my favorite song from the show, and that probably is the one that feels like the most, you know, finale of American Idol. The confetti is coming down, and we're
as like Chris Daughtry is singing.
Yes, exactly.
Or like Chris Allen.
Chris Allen, what was his song? I don't remember at all.
No, I don't know.
Don't know.
That's wow, that's really good.
So yeah, like Imagine the Confetti. But yeah, and then they do have those other ones that I would consider more like comedic songs, like the opening, which is
Corn.
What is it? Corn. Or like Woman of the World, yeah. Or like something like Best Man Wins, like leaning into a more comedic side. Versus the like whenever they're leaning into a more emotional moment, that's when it hits the like pop country genre more.
I was gonna say
I thought the opening was also great.
The opening I think they did on the Tony Awards, right?
Probably when they're dancing with the corn,
almost
like Lovely Bohème style.
We need more corn choreography. I think they only used it that one time, but they should bring it back. Everyone's got like a cob and they're doing like a can line with the corn.
Well, it was dying for the rest of the show.
You're right. I like Maybe Love. I love the way that Carolyn sings it on the cast recording. And then another one that I think is like really beautiful country is Friends with Maisie and Lulu.
Yeah.
Like that's such a like very, I would say if you look up any of those people that Steph named that they wrote for this duo, like you would hear a song that sounds like Friends of just like beautiful female harmonies on a like very beautiful country music song. I feel like it's fun. We've been seeing so much of this lately with, you know, non-traditional musical theater writers writing on scores. Shucked, obviously. The Outsider's another one. There's one this season. Lost Boys, I'm pretty sure, is another like duo band. Yeah. So it's fun when like people come in that like aren't typically musical theater writers to do such a specific style of music. And yeah, it works because like this is what they're good at. They're good at writing country, rock, pop music. So why would you have, you know, like a straight up musical theater writer come and do that? It's fun to get to use your craft.
Yeah, I wonder where the matchup here came from because it is such a good mashup. It is, you know, it's about this like country town, and it's an inspired idea, I think, to approach these popular like country songwriters to say, hey, would you imagine coming into our world and using your talents to kind of create something that we haven't like really heard before in the musical theater space. And I think sometimes that's more successful than, let's say, bringing a musical theater writer in to do something like this where you want to hit a specific style and genre and it doesn't often like sound as authentic. Whereas like these people are from the country world writing country songs, like, you know, more successfully, let's say, bringing it into the musical theater space. Like less, they're not trying to imitate anything. They're just authentically bringing that style in. And I think that worked really well here.
I think it's on the Tiny Desk. Brandy Clark, that's her name, right? She said specifically on Somebody Will, because Andrew Duran sang this on Tiny Desk. She said that like as soon as she heard his voice on it, she was like, that's the guy. I don't need to hear anybody else. Like this is the guy that I want to do this. So yeah, it's interesting too to like have these people be in the room. I'm curious, like as you said, like how at what point did they? I'm sure we could find this information out, but like join this collaboration, because Shucked was kind of in the works for like a little while. It had like it was supposed to premiere in 2020 in DC, but obviously we know what happened in 2020. So that was nothing. And then I think it had its out of town in Salt Lake City, which is crazy because there used to be a song, the Act 2 opener has changed, but there used to be a song that was called I Love Jesus, which, you know, performing that in Utah is, you know, it's just like funny to put, it's like a hat on a hat. I don't know, I feel like it used to be a lot more God focused in like a funny way, a la Book of Mormon.
Satirical, right.
And we've kind of like lost that a little bit. But I feel like Americans do really love the God jokes. So maybe that's why it hit a little bit different on Broadway, because it's been
Right.
replaced. That Act 2 opener has been replaced with the Ballad of the Rocks, which is fine. But I do remember I Love Jesus being much funnier.
Right. It's giving, and I haven't, like, I think I listened to it once, but it's also giving, like, kind of, I Love My Dead Gay Son, you know, Heather's, like,
Yes.
I don't know if it is or not, but just kind of, like, not shocking you, but just, like, catching you off guard, and making you, like, laugh at the absurdity a little bit.
Yeah. And then, yeah, as we said, Shucked was on Broadway 2023. It played 327 performances. Then it went on tour, and then last year it was in London at the open air space, which I feel like would have been so fun to see that there, because you're like in the actual elements of, you know, the corn grows outside, and now we're outside where the corn is growing at the Regent Park Theatre. And then it's going to Australia apparently this year, which fun. Great.
I love it.
And I guess it had like pretty, I would say, mixed positive reviews on Broadway at the time. I do want to talk about the character of Peanut, because to me on Broadway, he was like so funny, but here it felt, and maybe it's the actor, maybe it's the new jokes, but I'm like, it felt a little forced to me. It's like he's waiting for the audience to laugh. And don't get me wrong, the audience is laughing, but it's like, isn't this so funny? We should all be laughing right now. That's how I felt for most of his jokes. And then I was just thinking of stuff the whole time. I was like, this is Ogie 2.0.
You know who you reminded me of the whole show? This is my first note. Tim Robinson, like, what, I think it was like this specific actor who like looked a little bit like him. What's Tim Robinson's show called?
I don't know.
I Think You Should Leave.
Something like that.
I'm just searching it. Yeah, I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson on Netflix, which one of our friends like really loves, and his has like really tried
to show us.
To watch.
Yeah.
To the fact that I went to the movie theater to see his movie.
Friends, whatever it was called.
Friendship.
Yeah.
I saw Friendship in theaters.
You know what's funny? In the Toronto Star, because we're recording this like the week after the Oscars, the Toronto Star had like their predictions, and they said that like Paul Rudd should have been nominated for Friendship.
Honestly, like, it's not that I did enjoy Friendship. It's just like it's so absurd and it's so specific.
The comedy's very specific. Yeah.
The comedy's very specific. Like, I was, like, giggling throughout, but the biggest laugh was at the end when the movie was over, and I turned to my other friend who was also there, and we just looked at each other, and we keeled over laughing, just at, like, we're like, what are we doing here?
We are not the target audience. How did we get here?
So anyway, shout out Jake.
Yeah. He probably would love Shucked.
Maybe. Jake's wife was supposed to come with us, and she hurt herself, so she couldn't come. She's okay now. Yeah. But yeah, like, that's all who I could think of anytime he did something just like this kind of like socially awkward. It was the delivery. It was also facially he was giving Tim Robinson. And it just made me laugh. Yeah, I agree that I think, you know, it was the same setup of joke throughout the show. So it's by like, the time you get
I think
so by the time you know, he says it for the 20th time near the end, and they'll do it in like threes, like multiple times every time. By the time we get to the end of the show, he'll just say, I think, and the audience loses it because, you know, it's just the whole setup.
There was someone behind us that was cackling every time. Wow. And she had a very funny laugh.
There's like a child 2 rows behind me that was really laughing. The actual biggest laugh, the thing that made me laugh, was the reaction. We were sitting next to this older couple, and Maisie is kind of like contemplating, you know, she's getting married now to this guy she just met, and her grandfather, who's played by like a younger guy, which is like part of the gag, is coming over and talking to her and giving her advice. And he says to her, Maisie, you know the hardest year of marriage is? And she's like, what? And he says, the one you're in. And the audience loses it. And the person who loses it the most is the woman next to me for like 2 minutes. Like, just giggling, laughing. Her husband's like, it's not that funny.
And she's like, I can relate,
she felt it.
Sir.
She felt that. She really felt that joke. And I was like, man.
No, there was also, and there's been a few times that we've like been in an opening where this person must be sitting in close proximity to us, but there is someone that is in the theater that when something kind of dramatic happens, they are gasping so loud. So when Maisie left or when she kissed Gordy, oh my God, this woman lost it.
Shock.
Like such a loud gasp, and then that made people in our area laugh at her reaction. So that was happening a lot of the night as well.
That's funny. No, it's a good crowd. I love going on media night because the crowd is always like so into it. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's not always the best gauge of like true audience reaction.
Well, it's funny because like Shucked has not sold very well here. Like they are not selling the balcony of the Princess of Wales, which I think is pretty rare for a tour to roll through and not sell the balcony.
Yeah, it's just I think it's hard to sell things with like no IP, and that's one of the things that I like the most about it is that it's a completely original musical. But when the ticket prices are so high like this, it's hard to take a gamble on something that you kind of have no context for whatsoever. And when people are like, "What's it about?" It's about corn. Okay, I'm not.
Give me more.
Here.
Yeah.
I need an additional information. So I do think it's tricky, you know. But it's part of subscription, so subscribers see it and hopefully like recommend it to friends but yeah, it definitely is not selling as well as some of the other shows. Some Look at Hot I think sold great. And
but that to me feels more like a subscriber show. Like this
100%.
Like, I mean, not to go here,
style, name
but
recognition.
Yeah, and like not to get into this, but I do think it is kind of important to get into this while we're talking about Mirvish because the new season has been announced, and I do think
an insane season.
Yes, and I do think for the last few years, we've really tried to scale younger, and I do think that has now been completely thrown out the window. And yes, we have 13 Going on 30, the musical. Yes, we have the Karate Kid, the musical that is going to bring the younger crowd. But is it because, like, again, we still can't afford these tickets? But I
keep getting emails for the Karate Kid from, like, Leeds.
Oh, because it's going there, like, right before we see Legally Blonde.
Leeds. Yeah, we're going to see Legally Blonde in the UK in Leeds. Sorry.
Yeah. We're going to London, if that wasn't put out there. You'll be hearing much more about that in the future. In the summer, we'll be talking more about our trip to London. But yeah, I just think it's so interesting to go from such a like commercial last few seasons and like getting really big tours to roll through here very soon after. And that's not to say that we're not, because Hell's Kitchen is literally like just closed on Broadway, is about to come to Toronto next season.
What's the other tour we're getting? Just 2 tours next season, right? Hell's Kitchen and what?
I think it's just Hell's Kitchen. Oh, Operation Mincemeat. Sorry.
Right. Okay.
I've like blocked that from my memory. I don't know why.
And I couldn't think of it either. And that is like the flagship show of the season. So
yeah, if anyone is subscribed to like Mirvish emails, like every email that they've sent is like, hello agents, mission whatever. Like we are really going in on Operation Mincemeat, which is funny because
who's doing the copy?
I don't know. There's obviously like a email team. It's not the team that we speak to, but it's obviously an email team. But it's funny because Steph talked about this like a few years ago that like she really thought that Operation Mincemeat was going to be an out-of-town tryout before it went to Broadway in Toronto because, you know, we have such a connection with the UK. But it turns out we have a connection with the UK in a completely different way than we all thought. So
yes,
I don't really know that it's like we are in the Reddit pages. I know a lot of people are not subscribing this season because it's just kind of a
even
very
just personal
confusing
experience from talking to people I know have saying they're not subscribing next season.
Yeah, so like just to, you know, give you the shows in the main season, we have Hell's Kitchen, Operation Mincemeat, 13 Going on 30, The Karate Kid, the musical, Salesman in China, Inside the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and the one that I'm actually excited for, Mousetrap.
I know. Also
because we were going to go see it.
We were literally going to go. It's the original staging from London that is coming here. That staging has never been here in Toronto before. My mom, my parents saw Mousetrap at like dinner theater here in the 80s. Like so long ago.
But 1, 2, 3, that is 4 shows from the UK this upcoming season. Like 13 Going on 30 just had their like tryout recently, as you just said, like Karate Kid is kind of doing its like UK tour currently. And that's like not to say that I don't really know what we're doing here, because if you look at this season, Shucked, and Juliet, Some Like It Hot, The Outsiders, A Beautiful Noise.
Was,
like
all
these
tours,
are geared to like younger audience, but then also, you know, throwing in some stuff for like the classic subscribers of Some Like It Hot and A Beautiful Noise. I'm not sure what we're doing next season, and I'm not really sure what this means for like the future of Mervish seasons. I don't know. It's very confusing to me.
100%. We were talking about this yesterday a bit. Like, is the political climate impacting what shows they're able to bring in? And we know they've always had a good relationship with, you know, London, the UK. So it makes sense. And sometimes, you know, that works to our benefit. Like, we get things before the States ever gets them because of that relationship, or we get different things that other cities are not getting because of that relationship. But this season is like not very commercial in my mind, and I'm excited about a lot of things. I think, like, I'm really happy that Salesman in China is in this season because
it's Stratford, right?
Yeah, it was from Stratford, it was original commission, and coming to Toronto, like, more people are gonna see it than have ever seen it before. And I love that it's, you know, this Canadian play coming. You know, we do have the 2 blockbuster tours. You know, the Wreck of Edmund Fitzgerald's so random, but like, okay, sure. But I do think it's a bit of a polarizing season, and I am curious to see like subscriber numbers and what happens there.
Yeah, shout out to me, because at the 11th hour I was like, I think Mousetrap is coming. And then also, like, I posted this on our story, but there was a 13 going on 30 like video that was posted
the day before,
and everyone was like, oh my god, cast recording. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure this is Mervish. And then I like did the deep dive to see the production company was followed by Mervish. Like, I was like, no, this is being
followed.
This is it. So, and, like, we'll be here because we're always here. And like, now, you know, we saw Operation Mincemeat on Broadway. We never did an episode because we weren't super hot on it, but like, we will be doing an episode now when we see it 100%. In the upcoming season. So it's an interesting, I'm curious, like, how many shows I'm gonna now recommend to people outside of, you know, this circle, because I don't know what people would think about the Shipwreck play.
You know, this is the thing about a subscription, is that you do end up seeing things that you would never just buy an individual ticket to. And that's kind of, you know, part of the package.
Don't get me wrong. This feels more on brand to like previous subscription seasons from like 6-7 years ago.
Like pressure.
I was about to say.
It's gonna be pressure.
Like, there was one season when we got like,
and like the shark is broken.
Do you remember?
Yeah, that was awful. Yes.
No, was it Metamorphosis? The one that like features like Gregor Samsa that like turns into a cockroach. That was
like the Kafka
experimental.
Like the Kafka.
It was pretty good.
That was crazy.
Like, not gonna lie, it was pretty good. So like, this was like 8 years ago, I want to say.
And you know what? By the time people listen to this, they might actually know the Off Mervish season, which we don't have yet.
I believe this episode comes out on Monday, March 30th, and I believe the Off Mervish season is being announced on the 31st. So I think it's coming tomorrow.
Okay, great.
But it is interesting because Off Mervish is kind of where we're getting like more.
That's where the cool kids are.
Interesting things. You know, like Kimberly Akimbo was kind of surprising to be Off Mervish. We just saw Cyrano, which is also direct from London, I will say. I don't know. Has anybody in the theater?
Like, the playwright of that is Australian randomly. But yes.
Oh. I thought it was just in
from
London.
Australia. But it might be from London.
I haven't really seen any theories. Have you seen any theories for the Off Mervish season?
I don't have any theories.
We're not Redditing the same way that we were for this main season, when someone was like, Reddit was comedy.
Like,
someone was like, I'm really scared for the upcoming season and I hope that we're getting the Phantom of the Opera. Like, that's what we kept seeing, was Phantom.
People are like, I'm shocked Phantom isn't coming. Are you? Are you okay?
Is it an anniversary year? If it's not, then it's not coming. Like, we only bring Phantom on anniversary years, guys. It's also been here like 8,000 times. It had a sit down for like 10 years.
You know what we are getting again, though? Mamma Mia. And that was like here 2 years ago. Not even. So I mean, maybe the rules are out the window.
Yeah, like the rest of this season is kind of like still in the swing. We're getting a bunch of like additional add-ons upcoming in the next couple of weeks. Like, Mormon is coming back after its 15th anniversary this year. Moulin Rouge is about to be here. Chicago is about to be back again. I think our next show, like main season wise, is A Beautiful Noise, which
Right. Can't
that
wait.
show was made for the subscribers. Can't wait to be buying in the audience.
Ba.
But yeah, did you have anything else to
there.
say on Shucked before we go completely off topic here? What's in your
no,
notes?
I don't really
what
have
else is in your
anything else
notes?
to say.
Did you hit your 5 things?
Okay, no, there's one more thing in my notes. Okay, Peanut giving Tim Robinson. Danny Waite's Single Tear. Song sound like American Idol. Horror show to critique. Tours in great shape. Favorite song Somebody Will. Brigadoon. Okay, my last thing. The mob plotline I felt was never resolved. Which we haven't really gone into here. But, okay, he got that, like, kind of Operation Mincemeat style phone call. Gordy, yeah, like the doctor. The corn doctor. Where
that was kind of funny, actually.
That was funny. That was funny.
He was corn doctor, like, as in like corns for your feet, not
for
corn,
for
the real corn. Anyway, go on.
And he's like, he can't hear either of the phone calls. So from his perspective, the mob is still after him. He needs the money, and the stones are still worth a lot of money. That just kind of never gets addressed again. Like, he just decides to stay in the town, never leave, and we just never go back to the mob storyline. Yeah. And where's that? And it's fine, but that was my last note. What happened here? What happened with that?
Yeah, you know, this is kind of like, I feel like the trajectory of musical comedies is that there's always one storyline that doesn't finish itself, and you're like, but we just ended, so I don't really understand. So this is this one.
We just gotta go.
Yeah, we just gotta like hold hands and sing Maybe Love Reprise at the end. Oh, actually, let's talk about that, because I do think that moment is really sweet, that the narrators are the kids of Maisie and Bo and Lulu. Sorry, spoiler for Shucked. And it's been out for 3 years, like, please. And Lulu and Gordy. I think that's like a very like cute way to tie up this very corny musical.
Corny. Yes. No, it was sweet. I was, at the end, I was walking out with my mom and I was like, wasn't it nice that they were their kids? Mom was like, what? She didn't get it. She didn't get that. So.
Because, you know, the gasping woman gasped when that happened, so we all knew what was happening in our section.
No, I don't think she was, I just think she missed it. I don't think they could have been more clear, to be honest, but.
They sit right in front of them and they put their hands on their shoulder as they sing Maybe Love. So it's a nice little way to, you know, it's a nice little button on this musical.
It's quite clear, but yeah, no, it was cute.
But yeah, again, like, there's nothing wrong with this show. I think it's like a feel-good time. It's actually interesting because like a few of my coworkers recently saw it, loved it. They don't see a lot of shows, so like there's not like that much to compare to, which I think is good, because then you're just like, oh, this is just like a fun time at the theater. Whereas again, like, we're just like so snobby at this point. It's annoying, I'm sure, to listen to.
It's a problem. It is a problem. I agree. No, I think it is a problem. I think.
Remember when we used to just love everything? Now we've been doing this for years and we're so jaded. Like,
hey, and I don't hate this, but yeah, no, I agree. I think it's hard, and I think it's harder to like really take us away on a ride with a show now than it used to be. It's hard. It's really hard. What a life. What a hard life I lead.
Yeah, it's so difficult. I feel like one time we should like rate all the musical comedies that we've seen, but that's not today because we need to make a list. But I'm just kind of curious like where we stand, because I feel like we do
like a musical comedy like episode maybe.
Because I feel like we differ on a bit of these, but that's just like based on, I would say, like what we find funny, sense of humor wise. But overall, I do think we have like generically the same opinion on musical comedies. It's just like whatever. They're all whatever to me. I forgot to say that also Gordy on Broadway was played by John Bellman. Is that how we say his name? Who was recently in Smash. Love him. He was great. He was,
was he like the writer? Like Chris Rodriguez's husband? Was that him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who was an alcoholic in Smash?
Yeah.
Also kind of not really addressed, but that's okay.
This has like, Smash is kind of giving like ounces of Shucked, I would say, when they really tried to like play up their musical comedy here. When Brooks Ashmanskas does like comedy hour, like what are we doing in that musical? We cannot get into Smash again.
No.
Anyway, okay, let's rate this. I don't even know if that was a real episode on Shucked. I think that was more of an episode on the Glee Project and American Idol, but that's fine.
I think people know what they're here for. Okay, I'll go first. I guess I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 little denim vests to match my top.
Pink top. I'm also going to give this a 7 out of 10. I will choose the like sparkly rock charm bracelet that's worn for like a moment in this musical.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's fantastic, but it's just pretty good. So you can see Shucked in Toronto until April 5th if you're listening on episode release day. But if not, as I said, it's definitely coming to a city near you if you're listening in the States. And the cast recording is available for anybody else that wants to listen to it just outright. So that's our thoughts on Shucked. And now it's time for our obsession of the week. Okay, Steph, what's your obsession?
Okay, I'm going to come here with a podcast recommendation because I'm always listening to a podcast. And I'm going to recommend the podcast. Sorry, I actually just need to pull up his name.
Also, your chair is squeaking.
I know, I don't.
And I'm going to leave this in for the episode because people are probably wondering what that is, but we need to get some like WD-40 on that.
I know, I'm going to talk to my dad about this after I thought about it. This podcast is Broadway Breakdown, hosted by Matt Koplik, and what I'm going to say is I don't always agree with his opinions on theater. Sometimes I find him a bit, like, harsh, or, like, slightly, like, you know, not, like, generous with his readings, and I try to be, I think our podcast, we try to be, like, more generous with our, like, interpretations of things. I don't know. And as we just gave kind of like a really like meh review to Shucked. But I really like that he like goes deep and he has like strong held opinions on musicals, on theater. He also does plays. Sorry.
Wow, that's big.
Wow. And tries to see everything in the Broadway season. And he does, like us, he'll do like a way too early kind of discussion about the Tonys. He'll deep dive into older shows with guests. I recently listened to a series that he did on Natasha Perry and the Great Comet of 1812 with Natalie Walker. And they had both seen it kind of in all its different iterations.
Oh,
that
Natalie
was really,
Walker.
really fun.
That's a name
I know, Natalie Walker. Miss
time.
her.
Yeah.
Miss her. Or, yeah, he'll talk about different musical movies. And he kind of keeps you updated on the Broadway season as it comes through and is talking about, you know, what he thinks is going to happen or be nominated. And so he's just another person whose opinions and thoughts I like to take and then, you know, consider next to my own. And we definitely don't always agree because, again, I think sometimes he's a little bit, again, like ungenerous, but I like that the opinions are... We used to be
so generous. We're less generous now.
Yes, for sure. We definitely used to be more generous. But I really like that his like opinions on shows are like so strongly held, and he like has a take. He has something to say, and I think like it's boring if you have nothing to say, and he has something to say about what he's seen. And if he gives something a really good review, I'm interested. Like it makes me want to see that thing all the more. So yeah, it's Broadway Breakdown with Matt Koplik. It I think used to be part of the Broadway Podcast Network, but I don't think it is anymore. And the current like series of episodes they're releasing are about like the creation of Marcel on the Train, which is the classic stage show.
This is the
Ethan
Ethan Slater,
like written starring. Yes,
somebody
exactly.
else is in this. Is it what's his name? Oh my god, I see his face. He was also an Ogie and Waitress. Red hair, curly. I'm describing Ethan Slater, but I'm not thinking of Ethan Slater. Oh my god, what is his name?
I'm searching.
If it's not, and
who's in Marcel on the Train?
Yeah, because I was gonna say if it's not him, then I can't even tell you who it is because I don't know who it is.
So Alex Wise is in this.
That's who I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of Alex Wise? Okay, how could you ever forget Alex Wise? Alex Wise. But yeah,
who also has red curly hair.
I don't know. Is his hair red?
It's like red brown, I would say. It's not as red as like Ethan in Wicked, but like it's giving a little bit of red.
Ginge.
Yeah, just a bit.
But yeah, so if you're looking for a different theater podcast, definitely Broadway Breakdown with Matt Koplik.
Great.
Tara, what's your obsession this week?
I didn't mean for this to be so related to this episode, but speaking of Glee, we have recently Nobody's Side from Chess was released, the Leah Michele version, I'll call it. And I am giving this my obsession of the week because I have a few things to say on this. One, I've talked about this when I saw Chess on Broadway back in November. Hers is not the definitive Nobody's Side because nobody will ever be Julia Murney, as we know, or nobody will ever be her mother on Glee, Idina Menzel. They're just like very different. But what I will say is that, as we all know, Leah has such an amazing voice. It is so crisp and clean. And I do think that this version showcases it a bit better than what I saw on stage. Again, I saw it very early in previews, but I don't think that the mix of the orchestration and the ensemble was really, like, it wasn't that great for Leah specifically, whereas obviously on a mastered studio recording, we are mixing everybody's vocals, so it sounds very good. The orchestra sounds amazing on this single. I love it. But the reason I'm here is, wow, again, to relate to Shucked, to talk about Broadway marketing. I have not seen a campaign for Best Actress in a Musical the way that Chess has been sending Lea Michele out every day to do press interviews. Like, we did not nominate her in Our Way Too Early, both of us.
I know.
I still believe that she's not getting a nomination. However, if I was a Tony voter, I'd be like, I guess I'm voting for Lea Michele because I see her name every day. I turn on the TV, she's on every news network doing an interview. Like, the woman is doing press left, right, and center for this show. Wow. And I just think that, like, Chess is kind of really harassing the audience with the Lea Michele exposure, to the point of what we were just saying before we started recording, that, you know, she's leaving June 21st, and right now that's the last day the tickets are on sale, but we only care about Lea Michele at this moment.
We're
it's
all
giving funny
leaving.
girl. It's giving funny girl.
Lea Michele's we're all leaving, but we only are advertising Lea Michele is leaving. Yeah, I do think it's going viral on TikTok in a very niche market, but everyone's just like, nobody's side, Lea Michele. And they're just like, this is iconic, this is amazing, Tony Award winner.
Meanwhile, we've been like, excuse me, we've been here on nobody's side for years. Exactly. ABBA did that. Like, please, let's put some respect on nobody's side. No, I think our, like,
on Benny and Bjorn. Okay.
I think our main critique of her version is it's not gritty enough. It's just like too crispy clean, which
her voice
again,
is just too amazing.
If someone has like just tuned into this episode randomly and listening to this part, it sounds like we're hating on Lea Michele. She's got a phenomenal voice. It's just like not completely right for this song, is my opinion on this. I mean, the song itself, though, iconic.
Amazing. I think we're on the Glee train. We have to do one more thing about Glee, and that's Matthew Morrison in Just in Time
is about to begin.
And talk about the advertisement. It's gonna be 3 weeks, but talk about the ads.
If we want to talk about a man that's perfectly cast in a musical, Matthew Morrison. I actually think he's going to be unbelievable in this. Did you see the video of him dancing the other day?
Yeah.
It's so good. Why is it so good?
On the stairs.
I think he's
doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Incredibly annoying. But, like, the amount of people that I have seen on TikTok that are like, I will pay full price to see Mr. Shu in this. Like,
crazy.
He is bringing the audience. I just don't think if you put another, you know, Jonathan Groff, also Glee alumni, like, here, we can't forget that. But, like, if we're putting Jonathan Groff, Matthew Morrison, and Jeremy Jordan, who's going in after Matthew Morrison, into Just in Time, like, Matthew Morrison is the choice for this. Jonathan Groff gave an unbelievable performance, but it was so unexpected. Matthew Morrison is so expected.
Remember, like, a year ago when we talked about the 2005 Tony Awards, and we talked about Light in the Piazza, and we're like, where's Matthew Morrison? Let's get Matthew Morrison on Broadway.
Now, I'm not in the Matthew Morrison world. He's currently, like, on tour, I believe.
Sometimes I just get served his, like, interpretive dance.
It's crazy to me. But apparently this has been, like, people in his fan space have been talking about him being rumored to do Just in Time for a long time now. And I think he's going to be great. I really do. I think he's going to be really good in this. I think he's going to be way better than Jeremy Jordan. Here we are again slandering Jeremy Jordan on this podcast.
I kind of agree. I'm sorry to Jeremy.
And while we're here, Jeremy, were you actually sick? Because I believe you were performing with Betsy Wolfe the next day in New York City. Do we have any other, like, things to air out while we're here about celebrities?
Hot news. No, I think I'm good.
Anyway, I will be putting in a clip of Nobody's Side because the song is iconic and she sounds great on it. But I am, like, so curious because in, like, less than 2 months we're gonna have the Tony nominations, and I'm curious to see what happens. Like, is she gonna be there? Because if she's not, what a budget they spent on that press tour.
I know.
She gets hair and makeup every time she goes somewhere. Like, I'm watching the Instagram stories. I see what's happening, Leah.
You know what? Good for you, girl. Get that contract.
Yeah, exactly. Get that hair and makeup. But she does take off her makeup to do her own again for Chess.
For the show.
Yeah, I saw a video the other day of her getting ready. The wigs at Chess are high quality. Like, they're
they look
stunning.
good. I agree.
They look
good.
really beautiful
Even,
wigs.
What's the other girl?
Hannah Cruz. Yeah, her wig's really good too.
Her wigs are good.
Yeah. I don't know when the Chess cast recording is coming out, but Nobody's Side is like, even releasing just her one single first is part of the campaign for lead actress. Like, pumped. It's wild. Anyway, that's our obsession of the week. That's our thoughts on Shucked, and that's it. And as I said, because we've already recorded it, our next episode is Some Like It Hot. You cannot see this in Toronto, but again, it's definitely coming to a city near you. So if you want to listen to, that episode upcoming, but you can also go back and listen to our other episodes by subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe there and leave us a comment.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Off2Bway Podcast with a number 2, and also on TikTok at Off2Broadway, also with a number 2. Leave us a comment there too.
I feel like you're about to post a quarterly bows. Am I right?
I do have one ready to go. I just have to add the last couple bows and then confirm the song choice.
This is our new
January to March.
Our new thing.
January to March.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.